Good evening, students. I'm now going to look at this essay asking whether people like nurses, doctors and teachers are undervalued and not paid enough, especially when compared with people like movie stars or company bosses. And the secondary question is, how should we decide how much people are paid? So you can see the question and the answer printed below. The areas highlighted in bold have some mistakes or need some improvement. So I suggest first of all you have a look at these areas, see if you can guess what the improvements are which need to be made, and can you do them. Then come back to my recording. Let me just talk first of all about this two-part essay question, which is a little bit unusual. Sometimes you may get a secondary question, which here is what factors should be used to decide people's pay. I suggest that you just devote 2 or 3 lines to the secondary question. It's not the main part of the essay, and you already have plenty to work with on the main question, which should enable you to think of lots of information and examples to answer this question. So let's begin with paragraph 1. Line 2, more respected by people because of their greater and more important contributions to society. We don't need the in front of society, and I'm using some more words, greater and more important contributions, to emphasize the point here that people may consider the work which doctors, nurses and teachers do to be far more important than the work which movie stars do, even though it may be very entertaining. Continuing with the third line, in this regard, the size of salaries offered for these positions has always been a topic for public debates, no S. Some people say that doctors, nurses and teachers should have better salaries. This seems fair when workers in the entertainment industry or managers of businesses tend to be paid a massive amount more while doing less important jobs. It makes more sense, is really not clear. I think the point here is that it seems fairer. So I have changed that. Moving on to paragraph 2. Health and education are two important and vital areas for every society. Here the point we want to make is that health and education are fundamental to a healthy and successful society. But to use the word fundamental, we have to change the structure. We could say, for example, health and education are fundamental to the success and development of every society. Continuing, doctors, nurses and teachers play an extremely crucial role in providing societies with healthier and more educated members. I'm using crucial here because we've already used important, and I think I've already used vital. I can't remember. So try to change your words. Try not to repeat the same words. Moving on, they are highly skilled and motivated people who have dedicated their lives for good purposes, such as research, learning and teaching. They provide, here again we're looking for a word meaning vital, important, crucial, significant, but we are running out of options. So what can I think of? Now, I'm ashamed to admit here I've just resorted to Google synonyms, but I would actually advise my students to use this method as well. Sometimes it's very useful to have a few options for words with the same meaning, and even professional writers will use synonyms, dictionaries to find alternative words. So indispensable, I think that would fit in very well here. So they provide indispensable services to almost all of society. We don't need the here, and we don't need members. You could use members, then you have to change it to almost all of society's members. While movie actors or business owners serve a far smaller portion of the population. Remember to add adjectives or adverbs. Serve a far smaller portion of the population is better than just saying serve a smaller portion. Now, the last sentence is not very clear in paragraph 2. According to the above, rather than that, we should say, it follows therefore that they should be paid more. The last 3 words are irrelevant and going off the point. We're not talking about them, whether they should live more comfortably or not. We're just talking about what their financial reward should be for doing their job. So we should have a full stop after more. If you wanted to add a few words after paid more, you could say it follows therefore that they should be paid more because they deserve it. That would be a nice way of rounding off this paragraph. On to paragraph 3, third line. Now here you have to first of all make the point that these professionals think job satisfaction is more important than money. Then you can go on to say that money is not so important. So we should say something like nurses and teachers to be paid more as their main reward is job satisfaction, not financial. Maybe we could expand that a little bit. Their main reward and motivation is job satisfaction rather than financial benefits. Moving on, their main goal may be to help their community, gain professional achievements and status, full stop after status. I think here when the writer talks about the position they reach in society, I think he means status. So the way I'm writing it is clearer. So again, their main goal may be to help their community, gain professional achievements and status in society. This makes the last sentence redundant because it is repetition. We're really just saying the same thing. They want recognition, which means status rather than money, so we should delete the last sentence in paragraph 3. Moving on to paragraph 4. Now we don't need moreover here because we're actually starting a new subject. The writer is trying to describe criteria which may be used to determine salaries. So it's a new subject, therefore doesn't need a joining word such as moreover, in addition, furthermore. So we can just begin this sentence with there are some criteria that can be used to determine the size of salaries. Firstly, levels of skill and experience. Secondly, how widely that profession is needed. And I think we should have a comma here. And lastly, working conditions and hours. we get rid of working, because again that is repetition. We can just say working condition and hours. We know that hours means the working hours. And last sentence, for example, many nurses work overnight or extra shifts, so this makes the job more arduous and thus deserving a higher financial reward. I've added and thus deserving a higher financial reward because the sentence doesn't seem complete as it is, and arduous I think is a better word than difficult. Okay, not a bad essay, but a lot of structural and grammar problems. The content is okay, it answers the question quite thoroughly. The writer could have perhaps made the essay a bit easier for himself if he had talked about why business leaders and movie stars do get so much money. He could have talked about capitalism and the importance of this concept in a society. For example, when we hear about a famous movie star getting $1 million for one movie, we may feel envious, but we also feel that this shows that in society there is great possibility for everybody if they have luck, skill, or just work hard. Although people should certainly be paid according to the importance of their work, most people probably reject a society which is based on something like communism, where strict criteria would be used to determine everybody's salary. And maybe for young people, especially school children and teenagers, when they hear the stories of people being extremely successful, movie stars, sports people, musicians, it perhaps can give them a great sort of source of motivation to work harder. Just lastly, the writer will notice that sometimes I use different colors in my editing. You can't see this on YouTube. This is just really to help me to identify content. So the green color here, the blue color identifies areas supporting doctors, nurses and teachers getting more money, and the orange supports them not getting more money, and the reddish color, I'm actually not sure what color that is. Anyway, the reddish color is identifying criteria the writer has suggested for evaluating salaries. Okay students, thank you for listening and good luck with your next assignment.